She used to smile at you like you were her world. Now she looks at you like you're in her way. You're overthinking every text, apologizing for shit you didn't do, trying to fix moods you didn't cause. You used to feel like a man. Now, you feel like a servant in your own damn life. It didn't start this way, but little by little you gave up your power. For peace, for love, for sex, for hope. And now, you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror. Wake up, brother. If a woman can control your mind, she already owns your balls. Today, we're cutting through the noise. This video isn't about blaming women or playing the victim. It's about understanding how emotional manipulation works, how it slips in, how it twists your mind, and most importantly, how to rise above it with strength, not spite. This is for the man who's been burned but isn't looking to stay bitter. This is about guarding your peace, like your life depends on it. Because it does. If you're ready to stop reacting and start leading, comment below, "I protect my peace." That's your declaration, your line in the sand. And by the end of this video, you'll mean every damn word. Number 1, frame is everything. If you lose your frame, you lose the game. There's this moment, right after the argument ends, you're standing there, heart racing, fists clenched, breathing like you just ran 10 miles. And she's calm. She's already fine. Watching you spiral, almost smirking, that's when it hits you and something's off. You started the conversation grounded. Now you're unraveling, and she's standing in the ashes like she didn't light the match. This, my brother, is what losing your frame looks like. See, most men, especially after heartbreak or a bad relationship, we think we're being real by reacting. She cries, we fix it, she's mad, we explain, she pulls away. We chase, but the truth is, we're not leading in those moments. We're being led by emotion, by fear, by her. It's not just about reacting, it's about surrendering control of your emotional terrain to someone else. And that's where most men break without even realizing it, not with fists, not with words, but with energy, with silence when they should speak, with over-explaining when they should walk, with guilt over things they never even did wrong. You give that up, and you give up your frame. And once your frame is gone, your peace, your clarity, your confidence, they follow fast. Now let's be real. You're not gonna out-yell a woman who's emotionally fueled. You're not gonna logic your way through a storm. She started with no intention of finishing. You're not a leaf in the wind. Bro, you're a mountain. You stand, and standing doesn't mean shouting back. It means you don't move from your truth. Even when she's crying, even when she's accusing, even when every part of you wants to fold, just to keep the peace. Because here's the Stoic shift, and it's simple, but it's powerful. You master your reactions. You don't let anyone borrow your peace. You don't chase storms, you weather them. You stop making her emotions your compass, because that's how you get lost. You learn to pause, to take that breath, to hold the damn line. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because the man who can stay calm in chaos, he wins without raising his voice. She might not like it at first. She might push harder, test you more, but deep down, that calm, that self-respect, that unshakable frame, that's what earns respect. And you don't do it to control her. You do it to protect yourself. You lead with presence, not pressure, with grounded energy, not reaction. Because the moment you lose your frame, you stop being a man she follows and start becoming a boy she molds. Don't let that happen again. Hold the damn line. A man who stands firm in the storm doesn't need to raise his voice. His presence speaks louder than any word ever could. Number 2, manipulation feeds on uncertainty. If she smells confusion, she'll bring chaos. There's a moment when you wake up to the reality. You're caught in her web and you know it. She's pulling strings, testing you, and you're too damn confused to even see it. One minute everything feels fine. The next, you're questioning your every word, every move, every look. This isn't some deep, dark conspiracy. It's something simpler. She senses weakness, and weakness. Weakness is like blood in the water. She's gonna circle. She's gonna pounce. But it's not evil. It's not manipulation for manipulation's sake. It's nature. We all have our instincts. Hers just happen to be sharper when it comes to reading a man's uncertainty. She feels it, and she'll push, maybe not on purpose. But that's how it works. If you don't know what the hell you want, she will show you, not out of malice, just out of instinct. She doesn't want to chase confusion. She wants clarity. And if you won't give her that clarity, she'll create chaos. She'll test you hard, not just for fun, not for power, but because she needs to know if you're strong enough to lead. It's the test of tests. The one every man faces, whether he knows it or not. But here's the thing, she's not going to hand you a roadmap. She won't spell it out. She'll just drop the breadcrumbs, hoping you pick up on them. And if you can't, well, the test becomes a game. But this isn't just about her. It's about you. It's about where you are inside. If you've been hurt, if you're still healing, if you're unsure of what you really want out of life, out of relationships, out of yourself, you'll find yourself caught in her emotional maze, and you'll never find your way out. Because if she sees you hesitate, sees you struggle to find your own path, she'll make you hers. You'll start to lose sight of what you're about. She'll start steering the ship. This is where most men mess up. We get caught in the flow, carried by the tide, thinking we're making decisions, when really, we're just reacting to her moods, reacting to her needs, reacting to her energy. And in doing that, we lose control. We lose our power. So, what's the fix? What's the move here? The Stoic shift is simple, but it's not easy. Define your mission before the relationship ever starts. Know who you are. Know what you want. Don't let anyone, especially her, shake that. Define your purpose, your boundaries, and your life's direction long before you invite anyone in. That's what keeps you solid when the winds of her emotions start blowing. Because if you don't have a firm foundation, she'll test you until she finds your weak spots. And that's how you get lost in the storm. And the worst part? You don't even realize it until you've drifted miles off course. No one's coming to rescue you, man. You're the captain of this ship. If she's the right one, she'll align with that mission. She'll follow your lead. But if she doesn't, you need to let her drift, let her go. That's the harsh reality. Here's the truth. The more uncertain you are, the more you'll attract the wrong people. You'll keep trying to fix things that aren't broken, only to break yourself. Because no one respects a man who doesn't know what he stands for. Not a woman, not anyone. A man who wavers is a man who isn't in control of his own life. But the man who knows what he wants, the man who's clear on his purpose, that's the man who commands respect. That's the man who women want. That's the man who never has to chase because he leads. And here's the punchline. You don't need her approval. You don't need her validation. What you need is you. You need to stay true to your mission, your values, your path. So stop letting uncertainty control you. Stop letting it drag you through emotional roller coasters that leave you exhausted and unclear. Define your purpose, set your course, and don't let anyone, not even her, steer you off track. The moment you do, you lose your frame. And once you lose that, you've lost the game. A man who knows where he's going doesn't get lost in the storm. Number 3, nice guys are her favorite target. Being nice is not the same as being good. There's a certain kind of man who thinks he's doing everything right. Always polite, always agreeable, always bending, compromising, avoiding conflict like it's the damn plague. He calls it being nice. He thinks it makes him lovable, safe, the kind of man a woman would want to keep around. But deep down, he knows something's off, because no matter how much he gives, she pulls back. No matter how patient, how understanding, how accommodating he is, she still tests him, still questions him, still doesn't respect him. And eventually, it happens. She walks, she leaves, or worse, she stays, but strips every ounce of his confidence, his power, his soul, piece by piece, and he's left sitting there, stunned, asking himself, "But I was so good to her. Why wasn't that enough?" Here's the hard truth, brother. Nice isn't strong, nice isn't respected, and most importantly, nice isn't real. Because when you're just being nice, what you're really doing is hiding. You're hiding your anger. You're hiding your needs. You're hiding your truth to keep the peace. And in doing that, you start a war inside yourself. You think you're keeping things together, but you're actually falling apart. And she sees it, even if she can't put it into words. She feels it. That silent resentment building under your fake smile, that suppressed frustration every time you agree just to avoid a fight, that quiet desperation in your eyes when you do everything for her and get nothing back. She senses it, and whether consciously or not, she'll twist it, she'll use it, because that energy, that weakness, that absence of backbone, that makes you the perfect target, not for love, but for control. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about blaming women. This is about understanding you. Because the longer you play the nice guy, the longer you lie to her, to yourself, and eventually something breaks. You snap, explode over something small, or just shut down completely, feeling used, unappreciated, invisible. But here's the Stoic shift. And it's crucial. Being good doesn't mean being nice. It means being real. Real men don't suppress. They express calmly, clearly, powerfully. They set boundaries like a wall of fire. They say no without guilt. They don't wait for approval. They don't bend to keep peace. They stand in truth, even when it shakes the ground. Because strength isn't loud, it's steady. And women don't respect the man who sacrifices himself to be liked. They respect the man who knows who he is and won't trade that for anything. You want to be loved for real? You want to attract the kind of woman who respects your presence? Then you gotta kill the nice guy, bury him, and resurrect the man underneath, the one who speaks his mind, holds his line, and never lets fear dictate his voice. The world doesn't need more nice guys. It needs more good men, men who are kind but not soft, firm but not cold, compassionate but not compliant. So stop hiding behind niceness. It's a mask, and the longer you wear it, the more you lose who you are. Start showing up, start saying what you feel, start setting boundaries like your soul depends on it, because it damn well does. You weren't made to be liked by everyone. You were made to be respected by the right ones. Number 4, emotional sob stories are weapons. She cries, you fold, she wins. It starts subtle, a story from her past. Tears well up. Her voice cracks. Suddenly, you're not just a man in a relationship. You're her savior, her emotional support, her unpaid therapist, and before you know it, you're walking on emotional eggshells. You're apologizing for things you never did, sacrificing peace to make her feel safe, taking blame to keep her from breaking down. Again, see, most men don't fall for manipulation because they're weak. They fall because they're good-hearted, empathetic, willing to shoulder pain that's not theirs, just to avoid watching someone else suffer. But that goodness, when left unchecked, gets weaponized. She tells you about her trauma, and now you can't set a boundary without guilt. She cries during an argument, and suddenly your truth doesn't matter anymore. She paints herself the victim, and you bend over backwards to play the hero. But here's what you need to understand, brother. Just because pain is real doesn't mean it justifies her behavior. Just because she's hurting doesn't mean you're responsible for healing her. That's the trap. The moment you start feeling responsible for her emotions, you're no longer in a relationship. You're in emotional captivity, and that's not love. That's control. Because emotions, especially when unchecked, are powerful tools. They bypass logic. They hit your heart fast. They scramble your instincts. And when someone knows how to cry on cue, how to drop the right line at the right time, you stop thinking clearly. You start folding. You start reacting. I didn't mean to hurt you. I've just been through so much. You don't know what it's like. It all sounds honest. And maybe it is. But the question isn't, is she telling the truth? The question is, what does it make you do? If her pain constantly silences your voice, if her story erases your story, then you're not partners. You're props in her healing drama. And let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with listening. There's nothing wrong with caring. But there's a line, and most men cross it without realizing, because we confuse compassion with submission. We confuse softness with strength. We think loving her means losing ourselves. But the Stoic shift is this: listen, but don't absorb. Be present, but stay anchored. Show compassion without compromise. You can hear her pain without owning it. You can be kind without being controlled. You can understand without folding. You are not her emotional punching bag. You are not her therapist. You are not the answer to a wound you didn't cause. Your job is to stay grounded, to lead, to protect your peace like it's your damn lifeline. Because it is. Every time you sacrifice your truth to soothe her chaos, you chip away at your soul. And a man without a soul, that's a man who can be manipulated. That's a man who lives in quiet desperation. That's a man who eventually explodes. So next time the tears come, next time the sob story rolls out and your spine starts to bend, pause, feel. But don't fold. Stay calm. Stay kind. But hold your line like a warrior in the storm, because real strength isn't about fixing her. It's about not breaking yourself in the process. A man who loses himself to save another ends up saving no one. Number 5, sex is her strongest spell. She'll give you heaven so she can make hell taste worse. It starts with a night that feels like a dream. The way she looks at you, the way she touches you, the way she makes you feel like the only man in the damn universe. And afterward, you're lying there thinking, damn, this is it. This is real. But what you don't see, what most men don't see, is that something changed that night. Not just in her, in you. She didn't tie you down with words. She didn't ask for anything, but you gave it anyway. Your focus, your attention, your emotional center. Because sex, when it's that good, when it's that emotionally intense, becomes a drug. It clouds your judgment. It distorts your instincts. It makes you ignore red flags the size of skyscrapers, just to get one more hit. And this is where the trap begins, because if she's playing games, whether intentional or not, she knows what that moment did to you. She knows the power she now holds. And if she's not grounded, if you're not grounded, that sex turns into a leash. She starts pulling back, withholding, turning that passion into a weapon. Now you're chasing something she gave freely just days ago. Now you're wondering what you did wrong. Now you're thinking, if I just try harder, be better, she'll give it again. And that's the game, man. You're no longer operating from power. You're operating from lack. You're not leading with purpose anymore. You're reacting from need, and she sees it, and whether she admits it or not, she uses it. This isn't about demonizing sex or blaming her. It's about understanding the spell, because sex, in the wrong frame, becomes control. And the man who confuses connection with control will lose himself in the fire. Now, look, I'm not saying don't enjoy it. I'm not saying don't go deep. Don't connect, don't feel it. But I am saying this, if you lose your peace just to get her body, if your focus shifts from your path to her validation, if you wake up thinking about how to get her back into bed instead of how to build your life, you've already lost the war. The Stoic shift is simple. Detach from the outcome. Lead with purpose, not desire. Sex is a gift, not a goal. Connection is a bonus, not a reason to abandon your mission. You want to be powerful? You want to be centered? Then stop putting your self-worth in her hands or her bed. Start seeing sex for what it is, not what your emotional wounds hope it means. Because a woman can give you heaven in one moment, then starve you of it. Until you beg, and when you beg, you shrink, and when you shrink, she stops respecting you. Respect never grows in desperation, so next time she pulls back. Next time the games start, next time you feel that panic rise in your chest because she's not giving you what she once did, pause, breathe, and remember, she doesn't owe you that feeling again. You don't need to chase what should come naturally, and you don't need to lose yourself to keep her, because the man who leads with purpose, the man who can walk away from the game with his dignity intact, that man is dangerous, that man is rare. Be that man. Sex should never cost you your peace. If it does, you're paying in soul, not skin. Number 6. She mirrors you to mold you. She acts like your dream girl until she becomes your nightmare. It's wild how fast it happens. One minute you think you found her, the way she looks at you, finishes your sentences, laughs at your dumb jokes, agrees with your plans, your values, your vision for life. She's everything you wanted and more. It feels like fate. Like you finally won the game. But what you don't realize is you've just stepped into her game, because in the beginning, she doesn't show you who she is. She shows you who you are. She reflects you back to yourself so perfectly, it's blinding. That's the hook. That's the spell. You think she's aligned, but what she's really doing is learning you. She watches how you react when she praises you. She watches how you shift when she pulls back. She takes mental notes, not because she's evil, but because she's strategic. And once she knows what makes you tick, once she's sure you've bought the dream, that's when the real version of her starts to come out. The softness fades, the compliments stop, the support turns into subtle jabs, the little digs you brush off at first become full-on criticisms. And the worst part? You don't fight. You rationalize it, because you're not in love with her anymore. You're in love with who she was. And that version of her, that was a mirror, not a woman, but now you're hooked, chasing the ghost of a woman who no longer exists, trying to earn back the love she gave so freely in the beginning. So you compromise, you bend, you dull your edge to get her softness back, but it doesn't work, because every step you take away from your truth, she loses more respect for you. That's the psychological trap. She mirrored you to mold you, and now you're being shaped into a version of yourself you barely recognize. This is how a man goes from being solid to hollow, from confident to confused, from leading to lost. But there's a Stoic shift that saves your soul. Don't fall in love with potential. Watch patterns, not promises. It doesn't matter what she says early on. It doesn't matter how perfectly she aligns with your interests, your music taste, your goals. What matters is what she does when comfort fades, how she handles challenge, how she responds to no, how she treats you when she's not trying to win you, because real connection isn't found in the honeymoon, it's found in the hard moments, the unfiltered ones. So stop chasing the version of her that existed only when she was trying to lock you down. That woman, she was a strategy. The real test is who she becomes when she no longer needs to impress you, and the test for you is whether you're willing to see it, whether you have the strength to walk when the mirror shatters and reveals something you didn't sign up for. It takes guts to admit you were fooled, even more to admit you wanted to be. But that's how a man grows, by seeing clearly, not hoping blindly. So pay attention. Your brother, her words will paint dreams, but her patterns will tell the truth. And if you ever feel like you're chasing the beginning, that's your sign. She's no longer real, just a reflection you're dying to see again. The dream, a version of her, was just a mirror. Don't chase reflections, follow reality. Here's what it all comes down to, brother. You don't outplay manipulation by becoming colder. You don't win by turning bitter or building walls so high no one gets in. You beat it by leading yourself with calm, unshakable purpose, not through dominance, not through control, but through presence, through knowing your truth so deeply, no storm can pull you out of it. You don't get played when you stop playing. You start observing. You start listening. And not to the noise, but to the patterns. And most importantly, you protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. See, the strongest men aren't the loudest. They're the ones who know they could raise hell, but choose not to, because they've already been there, and now they're grounded, clear, rooted in something bigger than emotions. That's your mission now. Stop looking for someone to complete you. Become the man who never needs saving, because he already saved himself. So remember this: if a woman makes you forget who you are, she was never worth remembering. And if you're done shrinking, if you're ready to stop chasing validation and start walking in power, then drop this below and make it real. I lead, I protect, I walk if needed. Let the world and yourself hear it, loud, clear, and unshakable, because that's who you are now. Not the man she tried to mold, not the man you used to be, but the man you chose to become. And that man, he doesn't fold, he leads.